What up, my guys? On to another show, man. I tripped out, get on here. I'm like, I get back to the house, like, okay, let me see what's up with the show. I hadn't even created the damn show, man. Tripped out one time, but it's all good, man. We here, we back, we got the NBA back. You see what I'm saying? I've been this whole week, man. I've been trying not to think about any NBA, just trying to get refreshed, try to get back to work, man. But we're back here today, and I don't even want to get started. But even still got guys like illness and not playing and stuff, even coming off being a week off, man. But it's all good. It's today's NBA. If you're older, you know what I'm talking about. If you're newer, this is the only NBA that you know. So you know what I'm saying. It's all good, but not really. Not here to talk about anything negative. It's all positive vibes. Finna go through every one of these games, every single one of them. Finna let you know what I'm liking, what's going on in my head. Then I'm get up out of here, man. It's the same old thing every day. If you like the show, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's try to get some cash today, man. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's get straight to it here. Let's go over to the streets of Toronto in this one. I'm not here to waste your time. Raptors land one at the house versus the Brooklyn Nets in this one. This line was at 2.5. It's come down, and I agree with which way it's going as well, man. Like I say, the Nets, they're probably feeling good about themselves right now. Now, will it translate to a win on the road? That's not a lock. You see what I'm saying? But I can only look towards the Nets here. They finally got rid of their coach that they didn't like, Mikal Bridges. Even though Dinwiddie isn't there anymore, we're starting to see all the stuff that's coming out about how they didn't like Jock Vaughn over there. Even Cam Thomas as well. He's smiling. Cam Thomas really never smiles, but he's smiling now. You see what I'm saying? My guy is smiling. They seem like they're in a like the honeymoon phase, like when you get a new girlfriend or somewhere. Like I said last night on last night show, it's like a supervisor that got fired or manager that they hated, and now they used to dread coming to work. Now they're like they can't wait. Like you wake up. You can't wait. You wake up with a smile on your face. You can't wait to get to work. So I do think this is going to be good for the Nets in the long run. Now, not really sure which one of these teams. Like I always say, once you figure out the teams like their headspace and where they want to go, like as far as trying to make the play-in tournament, trying to make the playoffs, or going the other way, like trying to tank and trying to get the best draft pick. That's when you can really figure out what's going to happen with these two teams. Both of these two teams are kind of right there in the same boat, like right on the outside looking in of the play-in tournament. So it could go either way, where they're really trying to gun for a playoff spot, or they could be trying to get the best draft pick as possible. Personally, I do think the Raptors are the latter. Possibly might be trying to get the best draft pick. They don't have a bad team. If you look at it, they got Jakob Poeltl back. We know Scotty Barnes is an all-star when he really gets up to play. They traded Schroeder, but they got RJ Barrett. They got Emmanuel quickly as well. You see what I'm saying? Still got Bruce Brown, which he's been like on a championship hangover this whole season. I'm not really sure what's going on with him. Still got Gary Trent Jr. coming off the bench, Kelly Olynyk coming off the bench, Chris Boucher. They don't have a bad team, but it's just what they've shown us, or what they've shown me, is that I'm not necessarily sure. I can't say that they don't want to win games, but they've had some very funky results, in my opinion. It's like the game versus the Pacers. They could have won that game. Before you know it, now they're down. You see what I'm saying? They losing to the Spurs. So I mean, they've only won 3 of their last 10 games. So it's not me saying that this is what I want to happen. I'm not a fan of any of these teams. I'm really just going based off what they're showing me. And I'm not really so sure what the Raptors are doing right now, to be honest with you. So the Nets were in the same boat. They had just got smacked by 50 points, and then management was like, all right, we got to get this guy up out of here. We got to come up out of the break with a new fresh start, and I believe Kevin Ollie is going to give that to them. Most teams only practiced yesterday. No, Ollie said, you know what, we practicing Tuesday and Wednesday. I got a lot of things to show you guys. We have to be a lot sharper with a lot of things. If this game was in Brooklyn, I would love the Nets here, especially at the house, but I still lean towards the Nets. I still think they get the win. I like the way that this line is moving. I just think that they're going to be in this honeymoon phase here for a little while, and if they want to make the playoffs, these type of games, or even a play-in tournament, these are the type of games that are must win. So this is a game that we watch closely to see how the Nets are playing. Guys like Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, everybody for the Nets here. But I think this is a spot where the Nets could get the job done, and wouldn't talk you off looking at Schroeder props as well, going back to Toronto. I know he didn't play there for long, but still they did trade him away. He might have a little extra pep in his step facing up against Toronto here. So I could only look towards the Nets. I think the Nets plus the 1 is the right side in this game, guys. Let's go over to the streets of Cleveland in this one. We don't know what's, I mean, shit. Banchero's on the injury report in this one. Markelle Fultz is out. Not really sure. Let me see. Is this the first game of a back-to-back for the Magic? Do they play tomorrow? No, they don't play tomorrow. And Fultz is out, coming off being off for a week, man. So not really sure what's going on there. Banchero's questionable with an illness. Donovan Mitchell did go through shoot around. He was questionable as well. Don't get me started, guys. These guys just been off for a whole fucking week, man. So I'm not really sure what's going on in this game. I'm not even going to waste your time. I don't really have a good look for it. We know that the Cavs, I believe they went like on an 18-2 run going into the break. They were absolutely scorching red hot. Won 9 of the last 10. They are on the first of a back-to-back. They have a revenge spot versus Philly the next night. They've basically owned the Magic. They've won 8 of the last 10 games. I'm not really sure. Some of these teams that were red hot going into the break you may not want that break to come. Like, you don't want to be off for 7 days after you've been red hot. They could kind of put out your fire, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not really sure what to do with this game. If Banchero plays, wouldn't be surprised if Magic kept it close. But just like I mean, what kind of illnesses do these? What are y'all doing on vacation? You see what I'm saying? Let's go over to the streets of Indianapolis in this one. Post All-Star break. Pacers land 11.5 at the house versus the Pistons. Now, I encourage you guys to make a bet on and a bet against list. Now, there's going to be some teams in the middle. It's just like, I don't know. Like teams like the Atlanta Hawks, you don't know what to do with them. But I encourage you guys to make your own bet on and bet against list for the rest of the season. Teams that you're like, all right, I like this team. I think it's going to have bet on potential. And I think this team is going to have bet against potential. Now, most of the tanking teams, it's going to be hard to make money with them for the rest of the season. But I do think the Pistons have tanked so much for the season. You even hear Money Williams. You also got to follow the beat writers as well. Money Williams says, like, we're going for some wins now, man. We're not messing around with rotations and shit anymore. Now we know exactly who our rotations are. We're going to be playing these games to win. Now, we still got to go out there and see that. You can say anything. Actions speak louder than words. But I do think the Pistons might, especially getting all these double digits spreads and shit, they might be bet on going into the second half of the season. You know what I'm saying? But we got to see first. Obviously, these guys are coming off vacation as well, man. So, Pacers, they've been hosting a lot. They've been hosting parties, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't, well, I don't know. I can't say they hadn't went anywhere. They probably went on a little vacation as well, but they're 2-0 straight up and against the spread so far this season versus the Detroit Pistons. Something that I did notice that Ivy, I did watch the little, I'm not really a fan of the All-Star weekend. Don't get me started, but I did see something there that was worth noting. Ivy, Benedict Mathurin was talking stuff to Ivy. It was like, you can't guard me and shit like that. Ivy was just like, okay. And I said next time the Pistons face the Pacers, that's going to be something to look for. Don't be a bit surprised if Ivy, and he played his college ball in Indiana, at Purdue as well, man. Ivy's probably going to have a little pep in his step. All right, Matthew, you want to talk shit? You see what I'm saying? Oh, I can't guard you. I think Ivy probably goes over his 17.5 points tonight. I think that's a really good look. This is the 6th straight road game for the Pistons, but obviously it's got broken up with the break there. But I think the Pistons could be scrappy here. I think 11.5 is a little bit too much to lay with the Pacers. Obviously, they're a great offensive team, still not the greatest defensive team. Like, this is like, I mean, I'm not sure if the Pacers should be laying 11.5 here, especially coming off the break as well. It's not like they're in form, because the Pacers are a type of team, they like to shoot a lot of threes. And if you're not in good current form and you're possibly missing those threes, like, watch out. We know that the Pistons can play really bad, but they have high upside and can play really good as well. Me personally, I think 11.5 is too much here. I think it's too much for the Pacers to lay, and I think it's too much for it to be getting the Pistons right now as well. I think the Pistons plus 11.5 is the right side in this game. Over and under, not really sure. You obviously could only look towards overs with the Pacers, but something to keep an eye out on. These teams come off vacation. Some of these shots might not be falling as well. You see what I'm saying? So if you do like some games that to go under today, this may not be a bad look after these guys are coming off the break here. It's probably going to be more players still trying to get into rhythm than it is that are like coming off like nothing just happened. You see what I'm saying? So I'd lean towards the Pistons here, heavily lean towards Pistons plus 11.5. And the total, not really so sure, to be honest with you. Let me see. Yeah, Pacers, they got like 3 road games after this, so they won't be traveling anywhere. Pistons, Yeah, this is not a first game of back to back for them as well, man. But yeah, I would lean towards Pistons plus 11.5. But Jaden Ivey over his 16.5 or 17.5 points is a really good look. He's a starter. He's going to get plenty of minutes. And with Mathurin talking shit, I was just like, all right, I got something for your ass, man. So don't be surprised if Ivy goes for like 20 points tonight. I actually like that prop quite a bit. Let's go over to the streets of Philadelphia in this one. Really tough game for me to figure out. Knee-jerk reaction says we got to take Knicks here, right? We got to take Knicks plus a 1. Now, these lines have been out for about 6 days. These lines have been out since last Thursday, guys. Or no, I'd say since last Friday. Let me see. When was the last day? I'd say since last Friday for sure. These lines have been out. So if you're just looking at the lines today, I'm not gonna say that you're behind the schedule, but like sometimes you got to try to get ahead of this shit, man. These lines have been out, guys, for about a week now, and this line hasn't moved. And like I say, even me, I'm like, man, the Knicks should be the right side here. They get DiVincenzo back, they get Hardenstein back, they get Bogdanovich back as well. But the Sixers are slowly but surely getting healthy as well. Now, this is gonna be the first game for Kyle Lowry. He's gonna play in this game. Who else they get back? They get back Tobias Harris, who was out a few games right before the break. Who else they get back here? D'Anthony Melton practice. I'm not sure if he's going to play, though. But let me see who they get back. Batum here. You see what I'm saying? So they're slowly but surely getting healthier. Now, they're not going to know what to do with all these players because they just traded for Buddy Hield and Campaign. So they're not going to know what to do with them. But now the Sixers aren't necessarily walking wounded. They basically have everybody other than Joel Embiid. You see what I'm saying? So while I even lean towards the Knicks here, plus the 1, it's not going to be as easy as it would seem as if the Sixers are still depleted. They're basically now they still don't have a ton of rim protection. Paul Reed is not really a center. He's a power forward at best. And then you got Mo Bamba coming off the bench. He hasn't really been playing a lot of minutes this whole season. He's not a bad center. He's just like he may be one of those guys that got paid and then just kind of stopped working out. So Knicks still have the advantage. Obviously, you'd love to have OG Anunoby in this one. You'd love to have him. He's still going to be out for another week. They're still without Randall, still without Mitchell Robinson as well. So, and we know that Brunson's a little banged up as well, man. I believe he's had tape on his fucking right hand. I think last year was his left hand. Now it's his right hand, man. So who knows? I can only look towards Knicks here. I heavily lean towards Knicks, but as I've been thinking about this one more and more each day, at first I was thinking like this is going to be not necessarily easy, but I was like, this is going to be a Knicks spot right here. Knicks going to get the job done. And this is a big game for them as well, because the Sixers have been above them all year. Now the Knicks are one game or like a half game above them. If they lose this game, then now you let the Sixers go back in front of you here. So I know there's a lot of season to play, but it could mean something when it's coming down to possibly like a tiebreaker. Like say if you're trying to get the 3rd or 4th seed for home court advantage, this could mean something. You see what I'm saying? So they only played once so far this year. The Knicks beat them 128-92 as 5.5 point underdogs in Philly here. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I could see it going either way. If I had to bet it, I would take Knicks plus the 1, but this is not gonna be an easy game for them, especially because the Sixers, both teams kind of went into the break limping in, but Knicks did lose 4 straight. They do need this game. They are the better team, and they have more size and paint protection down low. I can only look towards Knicks plus the 1, but it's not as easy as I thought at first, to be honest with you. But if I had to bet it, I could only look towards the Knicks plus the 1 in that one. Let's go over to the streets of Dallas in this one. Mavs laying a 1.5 at the house versus the Phoenix Suns in this one. Man, tough game, man. This line was at 2.5. It's down to 1.5 now. You see what I'm saying? This is going to be a really good game, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's going to be a great game to watch. The Mavs had went into the break red hot. They had won 6 straight and covered 5 of the last 6. The Suns, obviously, remember, they were starting to put things together. The Suns are becoming that team that I thought they would be. You see what I'm saying? They had won 5 of their last 6. They were 5-1 straight up and against the spread going into the break as well. Had won 7 and covered 7 of their last 9 games as well. So the Suns are starting to figure things out. Bradley Beal did go through a procedure on his nose, so he might be the masked man out there playing like Batman. He's questionable with a hamstring, but I mean, shit, you just come off 7 days of rest. You see what I'm saying? What the fuck are we doing here, man? No, more 8 days, 7 whole days of no, because I don't think he played versus Detroit. Let me just see real quick. Or I think he maybe left that game early. Yeah, he didn't play versus Detroit. So he's had them near 10 days off, man. These two teams have faced off already so far this year. Dallas beat them in Phoenix, and then Phoenix beat them in Dallas. The road team has actually won 4 straight matchups in this series here. So we know that Devin Booker and Luka always going to be going together, going up against each other. It's going to be a really great game to watch, in my opinion. I'd say maybe look towards some props. If you're betting aside, I do think it's a gamble here. Both of these teams are very kind of evenly matched. Like both of them have things what the other team can't really guard. Like the Mavs, they got Luka, they got Kyrie. That's going to be tough for the Suns to guard. But on the other end, it's going to be tough for them to guard Booker, Beal, and KD as well. Mavs got some reinforcements with PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, and they get Lively back as well. You see what I'm saying? So the Mavs are somewhat stacked right now, man. It's just this is a really tough game for me to try to figure out who's going to win. There was money coming in on the under. Now it's went up to the line. The total has went up to 245 in this one, man. So I'll watch the shit out of this game. It's not a type of game that I could bet or say, you know what, this side I really feel comfortable with betting. Maybe could be a live bet type of game. If whichever team gets up 10, take the other team plus the points. That's how I think this game could be like a back and forth type of game. It could go down to the wire. I'm not betting a side in this one. I know that for sure. I just watched the game. Some of these games, especially in today's NBA, it's better off to see who has it, see who's locked in when the game starts or like midway through the second quarter, then make a live bet. I could never talk you off there. It's becoming harder and harder to try to prognosticate, try to figure out who's going to win these games and what's the motivation, who's more motivated. You can tell once you're watching the game, though. You see what I'm saying? So live betting has become more and more profitable in today's NBA, guys. Just trying to help you guys out. You see what I'm saying? Let's go over here to the streets of New Orleans in this one. Pelicans land 7.5 versus the Rockets. Not really sure what to do with the Pelicans. I'm really trying to figure out, and as close as more games we'll get to, after about 10 more games, it'll really be clear who's going to be in and out. Because remember, the West is stacked 1 through 10, through 11, like 1 through 4, 1 through 5. We pretty much know they're going to be in the playoffs. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Somebody's going to drop out. Somebody has to move in. And honestly, I think some teams like the Sacramento Kings and the Pelicans, they're kind of like right there in the middle. I'm not sure yet. They're way too inconsistent. You see what I'm saying? The Pelicans as well. They got Zion, Brandon Ingram. Fucking questionable in this game, coming off 8 days of rest. See what I'm saying? So obviously they've shown that they're a lot better than the Rockets. Now the Rockets aren't making the playoffs, but if they want to be a thorn in some of these teams' sides, they could still try and make a play for it. But the Pelicans have shown that this is a really inconsistent team. Now they did win 7 of the last 8 going into the break, but they were beating up on cupcakes. They beat Washington, Memphis, Portland. They did beat the Clippers. That was a really good win, but that was a horrible spot for the Clippers. I remember we was on the Pelicans in that way. They beat the Raptors, the Spurs, and the Rockets. You see what I'm saying? So it's not many of those teams in there are contenders. It's really one team. That's the Clippers. They got smoked by the Lakers. Remember, the Lakers had everybody was on the Pelicans that night. They went out there and got smoked by the Lakers. Those are the type of games that it's like the Pelicans. When you expect them to win, that's when they do some fishy shit. And when you expect them to lose, that's when they win here. So you need to know what's up with Ingram. I'll tell you that for sure. The Rockets do get Van Fleet back in this one. This is a tough game. I'm not going to lie to you. These are two teams that's like in the middle of like, I don't know for me. And they're facing off against each other. I would probably say I would look towards the dog, but also we can't look towards the Rockets on the road, guys. This team is absolute ass when getting points on the road. Rockets are a simple team. When you want to back them, you back them at the house. If you're looking towards fading them, it's gonna happen on the road. They're 5-21 straight up on the road, 10-16 against the spread. I'm never really looking towards the Rockets on the road, but there is room for them to lose this game, but still keep it close if that makes sense, because we know how the Pelicans can sometimes be bullshit. Zion, how much did you eat on vacation? You see what I'm saying? Is your foot okay? Are they doing that shit where his foot is okay? He plays one day and then he's out the next night. We don't fucking know. Ingram, he been over there eating with Zion and got food poisoning or something. We don't fucking know, man. So this is a game, sadly, that I don't really have anything on. I would maybe look towards the under here. it's like watch and learn type of game, in my opinion, man. Let's go over to the streets of Chicago in this one. Bulls getting 8.5 points at the house versus the Boston Celtics. Celtics have smacked them up. They smacked them up the first time this season that they faced off in Boston, 124-97. They were laying 12.5 points. Now, I'll tell you, we see this happen every year, especially when the Celtics, like when they clinch that number one seed. Now, this team is gonna at some point gonna start getting ready for their championship run. They have to, because at some point the regular season doesn't matter anymore, especially when you've already damn near locked up the number one seed. Now, it's not locked up yet, but I do think the Celtics might start at some point. Not saying it's going to happen here. They're going to start sleepwalking through the rest of the regular season, not trying to get injured, because they really do have a really good chance at winning the championship this year. And it makes perfect sense. We saw it last year with the Nuggets. We made a lot of money fading them towards the end of the season once they already had their number one seed locked up. You could tell they were playing like they didn't care, and it makes sense. Why would you risk injury or like try to go balls to the wall when you already got like this? The games really don't matter. So I'm not saying that's here. I'm just saying something to look for in the future with the Celtics here. Now, the Bulls, they're just one of those type of teams. You never know what you're going to get for them. They're a scrappy team. Now, what are these guys doing over break? Torrey Craig hurt his knee over the break. Now, I know you got to stay in shape and stuff, but I'm just not sure what's going on. So Torrey Craig and Patrick Williams going to be out for this game, and like these are their two main defenders. Like they could literally throw one of those guys on Tatum and the other one on Brown or whoever the hell they want, and could shut them down. Not shut them down, but can contain them. See what I'm saying? So the Bulls, they're one of those fickle type of teams. You never know what you're going to get for them. I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to keep this game close at the house, to be perfectly honest with you. I wouldn't be. The Celtics are the type of team where they shoot so many threes that you need to be in rhythm. We've seen the Celtics, when they're knocking down threes, they can smoke anybody by 20, 30 points. When they're not making them, they're very vulnerable. They're very vulnerable. And if they're not making their threes and shooting like 20%, they could be fucking around losing this game. You see what I'm saying? So we've seen both sides of the spectrum from the Celtics be really good, and then when the threes aren't hitting, they could be really bad. So I'm worried about them coming in rhythm off of coming off of 7-8 days of rest in this game, man. So it's another one where I could see it going either way. Personally, I'm not betting it. I do think this is another game where you could find a good spot to live bet. Like if the Bulls get up 7 points, then expect the Celtics to make a rally. If the Celtics, I don't know, if they get up 20, you never know. They just put teams away. But the Bulls are a type of team that just like, you never know what you're gonna get from them, man. You never know. They could get smoked by 20. They can smoke a team by 20, man. It's the story of today's NBA. They did cover 4 of the last 5 going into the break. You know what I'm saying? They played the Cavs really tight. They were playing teams really tight, so they were in good form going into the break. It's a tough game, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really have a good, strong feel on this game. I'd probably say I'd lean to the Bulls with their defense, but it would have been even nice if they had Torrey Craig in there that could stop Tatum. I would look at Tatum's over his 40.5 PRA. I think my guy is he's gunning for something. He sees his eyes on something and he's going for it. And you could tell 6-7 games before the break, he was damn near averaging a triple-double, my guy. They've been putting his assists at 5.5. He's been going over that shit damn near every game. He's been having like 30, 10, and 8. That's what he's been doing damn near every game, man. So they continue to put his assist at 5.5. He's been getting over that shit, man. He's been noticing when to pass. He's been noticing when to get his points. He's been rebounding. I've noticed Tatum's stat pattern going for triple doubles, man. He's trying to go for MVP. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I think you see that shit again tonight. And I was saying this might not be a good team to do that against because they got really good defenders. And then as soon as I see Torrey Craig banged up over the break and that he's not going to play, I said, well, Tatum's a full go because that Torrey Craig was going to be on Tatum. Now I'm not so sure who they're going to put on him. You see what I'm saying? Tatum could go bunkers in this game, 30-point triple-double. My bet in this game would be over 40.5 PRA. Let's go over to the streets of OKC in this one. Thunder land 1 at the house versus the Clippers. This is a huge game for both teams, in my opinion. Now the Thunder will have Gordon Hayward. I think he's probably going to be coming off the bench in this game. They're going to have Bismack Biyombo as well. I was reading something before this. I was reading something before the game, man. I mean, before the show that SGA, he was talking about how he was kind of pissed when Paul George when he got traded for Paul George. So SJ is always going to have some up his sleeve. I'd be interested in what his points prop is. SJ is gunning for the MVP as well. That's why they've made it a point to get SJ. He's been stat padding so far this season as well. They're making it a point for him to get 30 to 33 points every single night, guys. Every single night, they're making it a point to get SJ his 30 points. That's just something I've been noticing. It's all about noticing the patterns. Like, we're bettors. We're trying to make money off this shit. So what I'd be looking for in this game, I do lean towards the Clippers. I like the way it's been moving. Only thing you worry is this motherfuckers like James Harden, man, and whoever he took with him. Like, it ain't no telling where he went, how much fun he had. This is a team that I was trying to look and see that they were. I want to bet on teams that's been practicing for 2 days. I do think the Clippers only practiced yesterday in Oklahoma City, and Ty Lue probably told them, "Hey, y'all, just meet me in Oklahoma City," and that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Because they might be coming in. You never know what type of shape they're coming in. Now, do I think the Thunder, are they contenders? You damn right they are. Do I think the Clippers are the better team? I do think so. They are on the road here. They are 1-1 so far versus each other. The way I look at this game, the Clippers are a half game back from the Thunder. Now, if the Clippers want to get number 2 seed or possibly even get to the number 1 seed, you got to win these type of games. So it's all about how serious you are about trying to get the number 1 seed. If they really want it, they should come in this game ready to go. Like, this could mean something as far as a tiebreaker here. So I could only look towards the Clippers. That's not that I could only look them. I could see the Thunder getting the job done. I just think the Clippers, I do think that they're a slightly more well-rounded team. And the Thunder might take them a little time to get used to guys like Gordon Hayward. Bismack Biyombo could come in there and fuck some things up as well, because Hayward has the ball in his hands a lot. He's obviously never played with this team before, so Thunder, they got some ballers, but I have noticed that SGA is going for the MVP. So if I'm betting the Thunder side, I'd bet SGA over his 30. It's probably 30, 31 and a half points. That's what I would bet for the Thunder. And if you like the Clippers, obviously that means that you're trusting that James Harden's going to be in shape and not come in still seeing booties shaking in his face or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So I do think the Clippers could really get to the number 1 seed. We saw that ever since Harden, ever since they got after their little speed bump, they've been balling, looking like the best team in the West. Like, we got to be honest with ourselves, man. The Clippers look like the best team in the West, the most complete team as far as like coming off the bench. Norman Powell, Russell Westbrook, they got Zubac back, so now you can bring Plumlee off the bench. Like, this team, they're fully healthy right now. They don't have a single injury to report. Terrence Mann, like, these guys are balling right now, man. So this is going to be a really good game. If the Thunder did get the job done, I wouldn't be surprised. They're a really good, well-rounded team as well. Play defense, play offense the right way. But I do think that they're bringing Hayward in, and Bismack Biyombo might mess things up at least for a little bit here. So Clippers plus the 1 is the only way it would be. That's what I would bet in this game. Clippers plus the 1. I believe that's the right side here. And I also couldn't talk you off the under as well. Usually when the Thunder come in and play a big game, if they're locked in, that means they play good defense. When they're not locked in, that's when their games fly over. I think that 236 might be a little too many points, because I think the Clippers are going to bring their defense, and I also think the Thunder are going to bring their defense as well. The under here could be a better look than even trying to figure out who's going to win. Obviously, if you can see by the spread, it's a toss-up, very evenly matched type of game. But I would go with the Clippers, and I think the under is a good look as well, man. A few more games here. Get up out of here. Jazz laying 9.5 at the house versus the Hornets. Can't be laying 9 now. The Hornets obviously are going to be tanking, but with this new team, this new roster they got, remember, they just made a ton of trades. This team actually was balling. I mean, they won 3 straight going into the break. They were at the house. They covered 3 straight. They're 3-0 since they got Grant Williams over there, Trey Mann, them. See what I'm saying? They've been low-key balling. I think 9.5 is in the opposite for the Jazz. They haven't been balling since they traded away some of their bench and made some starting lineup changes. Chris Dunn for Keontae George. So I'm not laying 9.5 with the Jazz versus anybody. They could be facing the Wizards right now, and I would not lay 9.5 with the Jazz, my guys. So I said all like to say it's Hornets or nothing for me here. Like I say, Grant Williams. They got a couple players from the Thunder over there. They got Bertans over there. You see what I'm saying? They actually low-key was starting to ball over there, man. Grant Williams playing with a chip on his shoulder ever since all the shit come out about him in Dallas and stuff. So Hornets plus a 9.5, I do think is the right side. Am I going to get there? Probably not. Jazz have beaten them 9 of the last 10 times, and it's just all about how serious are the Hornets about tanking. If you're super serious, then you might want to stop winning some games, because you're starting to put yourself like further away from the bottom. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about what to say about these teams, man, because you never know. Like when the tank, like at some point they tank so long to where they can actually win some games, if that makes sense. But 9.5, I couldn't. I'm not landing with the Jazz. I know that for sure. Only looking towards the Charlotte Hornets plus a 9.5. Let's go over to the streets of Denver in this one. Nuggets land 15 at the house versus the Washington Wizards in this one. Nuggets need a bounce back. They're basically getting healthy. I don't really care about the side here. I can only look towards Nuggets, not looking towards the Wizards, even though they've shown that they can be scrappy sometimes. They've lost 8 straight games. They did cover 4 of the last 5 going into the break, though. It was games versus like the Pelicans, the Mavs, the Celtics, where they lost the game, but they were right there in it. They could have beat the Mavs. They were up the whole time until the fourth quarter. They could have beat the Celtics. They lost their game by 4 in Boston. They could have beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They lost their game by 8. So you see a pattern with some of these teams where they'll play hard, they'll just make sure that they don't win the game. You see what I'm saying? So Wizards getting 15 here. I'm not looking towards the Wizards, but I do think this is going to be an over type of game. I think the Nuggets can do whatever they want offensively here, and if they don't come out super locked in defensively, the Wizards might be able to get to 110 points here. So, you know what I'm saying? Why can't this game be 125 to 110? I can see it. I'd look towards the over in this game, even though not really in a hurry to take many overs coming off the All-Star break. This is one where we know the Wizards aren't going to play a ton of defense. They're going to push the pace and try to score as many points as possible. No defense. And the Nuggets, like I say, they could really come out here and put up 125, 130 if they want to. If they really want to get back on track, it's just what the doctor ordered up. They lost 3 straight games going into the break. The Nuggets, they could put up 130 here with ease, in my opinion. I'd look towards the over in this game. I think the over is the right side here. Last game up. No, 2 games left, man. Warriors here, man. I like the Warriors in this one. Lost a ton of value. This line did open up at 3. The money line was at minus 145. Now, unfortunately, LeBron gets ruled out, unfortunately, and you never know what's going to happen with that. There could be fishiness happening in this game. They rule LeBron out the day before, you know what I'm saying? But this is a revenge spot for the Warriors. Remember, double overtime game. It was a huge game there, man. These two teams were going back and forth, throwing haymakers. This is the Warriors' turn, though, and this is a huge game for them as well if they want to make the playoffs. Like, you're going to see, if the Warriors lose this game, you're going to see their to make the playoffs odds shift. Like, I'm not going to say drastically, but this is a huge game because it's kind of like 2 games when you're playing somebody that's above you. You see what I'm saying? How LeBron go and play in the All-Star game and then he out today, but don't get me fucking started. You see what I'm saying? But LeBron did play 47. He played 48 minutes in that last game versus the Warriors. He dominated the game. There's no way that the Lakers would have won that game without LeBron. 36 points, 12 assists, 20 rebounds, guys. 20 rebounds. He went crazy in that game, and they still almost lost. But even more importantly for me in that game, I think the most important player, and the numbers show it. They didn't even have many players that were plus on the plus minus. Means like while they were out there, this is how many points your team was up by. You see what I'm saying? Jared Vanderbilt was the most important player for the Lakers that night. He played 41 minutes. He was a plus 30, guys. Nobody else was more than a plus 10. Well, D'Angelo Russell was a plus 12. Jared Vanderbilt was plus 30 in that game. He had 14 points, 4 steals. He was all over the floor. 5 assists, 9 rebounds. They don't win that game without Jared Vanderbilt and no one. He's going to be a huge missing piece in this one. I think the Warriors get the job done in this one. I'm not going to lie to you. This is my top play today. You did lose a ton of value, but I could still only look towards Warriors -6. I think they get the job done by double digits in this game. Now they're coming off the break. They could come out a little rusty in the first half. If the Warriors are down in the first half, I'm definitely taking them in the third quarter. Warriors in the third quarter. That's where I think they get separation. They did it. They were down in that first game, and then they came back, storming back in that third quarter, and they just couldn't end up getting it done. I remember Podziemski, he missed a big 3 that could have possibly won the game for the Warriors. This is a revenge spot. This is a spot that they need, that they basically have to win if they want to make the playoffs. Now, there's still like 27 games left, but with the Lakers being above them, you got to start taking out these games, these teams that are above you if the Warriors are serious about making the playoffs. I think they are. I think Steph's turned the corner. I think whatever they've done with Klay Thompson, bringing him off the bench, whatever, they pissed him off. I think he's starting to ball now. Kuminga is balling. Andrew Wiggins has woken up as well. Draymond as well. So Draymond might punch somebody in the face here. I like the Warriors in this game, man. Unfortunately, it's gotten up to 6 now, but this is the game that I have the most confidence in today. You just got to hope that there's no fishy shit, guys. Fishy things happen in the NBA all the time. They did rule LeBron out the day before. You never know what's going to happen, but the Lakers have owned these guys, won 8 of the last 10. I think it's time for the Warriors to get a big win over the Lakers in this one. I like the Warriors minus the 6, and definitely to win this game, my guys. And if they're down, I think the Warriors would be a really good live bet, especially for that third quarter spot, what they usually do in this one. Last game up, let's go over to the streets of Sacramento here. Kings land 8.5 at the Spurs without Sabonis. I think the Kings are one of those teams that they could, I mean, they really could have a possibility of missing the playoffs. And I know it sounds crazy and this team can ball, but what I want Malik Monk to go crazy here, man. I think Malik Monk is going to win 6th Man of the Year. I hope he even starts in this fucking game. I hope he goes over his points total. Malik Monk needs to go for 20, 30 points in this game, man. Now, they have owned the Spurs. They've won 6 of the last 7 and covered 6 of the last 7 as well. I cannot bet the Kings here without Sabonis. He's been their baby Jokic over there. He is doubtful for this game as well with the illness. Another guy with the illness, man. So not really sure what's going on with that, but looks like he is doubtful for this game. That's why you see the spread getting lower and lower. It was at 12 and then dipped down 11.5, 11. Then Sabonis was out. Then it went down to 9.5. Now 8.5 overnight, guys. So am I in a hurry to back the Spurs? Not necessarily. Like, it's Wemby and everybody else. 6th straight game of a road trip, even though it's on the other side of the All-Star break. Not really sure what to do with the Spurs. I might not be betting their games for the rest of the season. You never know when they're going to show up or they're going to get smoked by 25 points. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, it's getting smoked. So Kings could fuck around, still win the game and cover, but I couldn't bet it without Sabonis. But I'd be looking for Malik Monk. He's really trying to build his 6th Man of the Year case. These are our type of games versus teams that don't play a lot of defense that he can really shine against, my guys. That's the show, man. Full card. Man, it seemed like damn near every team in the NBA is playing today, man. But I went through every single game, letting you know what I'm liking on every single game. Props, totals, sides, all that. One top play for me. Like I say, I'm not gonna lie, you lost some value, but I do think the Warriors to win this game and to win it emphatically is my best spot of the day. It's up to 6 now, but that's still my best spot of the day. The Warriors, this is a major game for them. You just hope there's no fishy shit with them ruling LeBron out, but I think this is very telling in the 2 directions that these 2 teams are going to go. In my opinion, this is a huge game for the Warriors. They cannot treat it lightly. I like the Warriors to win this game and to win it possibly by double digits. That's the top spot of the day, man. I appreciate you guys. It's all love. I'll be back tomorrow as well, man. I'm going to start diving into the card already for tomorrow, man. Just trying to stay ahead of the game, man. Like I say, these lines have been out for like a week now. So, I mean, some of them that's gotten worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily my fault. These lines have been out since before the All-Star game, guys. So whatever you guys are betting today, best of luck. It's all love. Let's get this cash. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the word about the channel. Let's go to Smack City one time for the one time. We out, my guys. Back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's go. We out.